Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending here to my introductory speech that I named TALIBES, a generation in disadvantage. We'll come from different locations, different places around the globe. Like, for example, where are you from, sir?
Seattle.
How about you, sir?
Montana.
Alright, I'm from Cali, Colombia myself. We come from different locations and countries, cities, or regions that are well developed and established. Most of these places, society maintain a high ethical standard and norms. These places, you do not hear or see cases of child abuse or child labor. And that is because child labor has no place in our society. Society has unplugged from all these concerns, but unfortunately that is the reality of many children from numerous countries that face the atrocities such as starvation, physical abuse, and physical labor. Sadly, the reality for thousands of children in Senegal, abuse is part of their way of life. Children of all ages, starting at 5, put up with the physical and psychological abuse received in order to receive a place where they can spend the night or a plate of food. Begging is their daily duty, and from sun up to sundown, most of these children ask for money and food to make up for their subsistence. According to the Human Rights Watch, there are approximately 50,000 innocent human beings suffering from child abuse in Dakar. That is the main city capital of Senegal, including 50,000 children from the total number of children in Senegal, which is 2,282,000 children. That is 2% of the entire youth population. If we actually multiply that by the 14 regions that Senegal has, that equals to approximately 700,000 children that are facing this physical abuse out of the entire 2,282,000. That represents approximately 23% of the entire youth population. This phenomenon is predominant in the third world countries such as Senegal. I have experienced it myself firsthand as in one of my trips to this country capital. So today I'm going to introduce you with a big background information on the TALIBES and their motives behind their lifestyle. Let's first talk about the TALIBES. TALIBES are child disciples. They're general children from around Senegal that come to the main cities to study in Islamic schools. They practice the Quran and live with their leader for a couple of years until they become men. For many of the families, Islamic schools represent the basic principles of a solid Muslim education and way of life, in such that they let their kids go with their leaders for the rest of their youth years. Families without the means to take care of their children are happy to send their children to these schools, believing that they will have a better life and they will be better set for their future. Marabouts, or Muslim leaders, they become the children's guardians and raise them in their own homes. At no cost to the families, Marabouts become their TALIBES, spiritual leaders and their guardians. Their supervised children are responsible to provide for them all their necessities, including both the spiritual and physical. He instills religious principles and teach them the Quran. They live in their house and spend the majority of the time teaching them in a shack they call Dara or hut, where they share their living space. Although the Daras serve as the quarters for the TALIBES, most of them do not spend the time in there, as the only times in the Dara is when they're actually receiving religious training and sleeping at night. The majority of the Daras are abandoned, unfurnished buildings, construction sites, and other run-down structures borrowed by the marabouts until they're kicked out by the owners. These inhabitable huts lack of basic services such as running water and electricity, and most of them are actually lacking of ceiling, exposing these children to the elements. The children normally share a slab of concrete with 20 to 25 other kids. And at times when the Marabout sends a large amount of kids in the Dara exceeds the actual building capacity to up to 40 or 50 number of kids. The Talibes endure heavily physical abuse from the Marabouts, whose teaching style often includes severe punishment and psychological abuse. Their parents are aware of this abuse, but they believe that discomfort is part of their development of a child in order to build their character. That is why in a Dara hierarchy, older Talibes believe it's their right to use violence and food deprivation as part of disciplinary actions to follow the guidance from their religious leaders. Often, what started as a potential fruitful Islamic education quickly turns into an unfortunate way of life for this Muslim's apprentice. Although Talibes study the Quran for approximately 2 to 3 hours a day, the majority of their time consists of begging on the streets for food to maintain the marabou. Their original tradition of begging to feed the rest of their clan goes back to an Islamic tradition called askakat, who believe that Muslims are expected to offer assistance to the needy. While charity is indeed one of the pillars of Islam, many Marabouts have seemingly lost touch with the true intention of this practice. The children between the ages of 5 to 15 in this school begin begging becomes their duty. New children in the schools arise early each morning to scavenge food that will provide them and the rest of the kids in Dara and to their marabou. On any given day, the streets of the main cities are flooded with thousands of children that are begging and scraping leftovers that often represents their only meals of the day. All the time, food is not available. Talibes search for food at trash point, trash can, and trash pits that often subject themselves to risks and injuries, or that could follow on into a potential disease or infection. Starvation often takes control of their minds, and the desperate children often fight one another for a piece of bread that is thrown at them. The immoral situation often drives children to commit petty crimes in the midst of their agony to find food and provide the rest of the clan with some food so they can avoid physical confrontations with their spiritual leader. According to a report from Iran, many Marabouts demand their Talibes to provide them with a minimum quota of approximately 350 sipa, that is equivalent to about 70 cents a day. During my visit to the country capital, I experienced children constantly following pedestrian and lowest moving vehicles. And in the attempt to prevent later asking for money, in the attempt to prevent later physical confrontation with the Marabouts or fellow supervisor. Now let's see the aftermath that this generation of children face as a result of the inhumane living conditions. Talibes live in inhumane and deplorable conditions that often result in health problems. They are constantly exposed to illness and disease due to a lack of medical care and lack of proper hygiene practices. Their immune systems are vulnerable as the only food they receive comes from unsanitary conditions and unhealthy locations. In conclusion, Talibes arrived into the main cities of Senegal with the intention to receive an Islamic education based on the Quran. Unfortunately, that is not the truth, as they face cruel treatment and unforgiving life experience that changed their life for the rest of their time. Honest policies are enacted to eliminate this practice, or at least minimize the impact it has on their kids. Talibes will always be a generation in disadvantage. That concludes the brief. Any other questions? Anybody?
Is anyone doing anything to solve the problem? Maybe the government or?
Well, there's a lot of NGOs trying to help the cause. Right now, the president himself of Senegal is trying to pass propose a law to actually change this, but it's an ongoing situation since Islamic groups are trying to avoid the rule. So it's an ongoing situation. So it has no results right now.
Yes, has Islam itself actually attempted to fix this problem?
It's not to my knowledge. I haven't heard anything they've done. I do believe the problem falls on official Islamic schools. Anybody else got any other questions?
What are your thoughts on, you said you've interacted a lot with these kids out in the streets. What are your thoughts on giving them money or giving them food or?
My personal opinion on it is that as I don't really support the fact, I do not agree with what's happening to these children. I have given and provided them with money or food just because it's the mode to avoid confrontation or avoid inhumane treatment. At times I've given a piece of bread and myself just to ensure that they have something to eat for that day. Well, thank you very much. That concludes the